is a true privilege for us to be here celebrating community. About 3 years ago, when the first idea for what is now Basket first began, it began here in Virginia. It began with Neil thinking about his family, thinking about the way that he spends his money, thinking about the fact that there's a lack of transparency if he wanted to check prices between what he spent online versus what he spent in the stores that were close by. And at the time I was working at a company called Waze. Some of you may be familiar with the traffic navigation application. And Neil came to me and said, I've gone to retailers, I've gone to manufacturers, and this idea that it's a good idea for consumers, they kind of like the status quo. How do we disrupt the status quo if we can't work with the companies that are fostering the status quo? And that's when it really kind of struck us that Waze had worked with 60 million users around the world to help solve the problem of traffic. Could we do the same thing with commerce? Could we do the same thing by uniting a community of people against the lack of transparency in pricing for commerce? Could we unite a community of people against the, let's call it, creative and sometimes manipulative pricing that happens in offline and online retail? And what we found is that yes, we actually can. So today, for us, is just an amazing opportunity, amazing celebration of that community and what's been able to happen as a result. Last year alone, $1.5 trillion was spent in the US on groceries and everyday products. $1.5 trillion. And on average, what we're seeing with Basket is at least a 20, if not 30% savings. And if you think about that, that's over $300 billion that Americans left on the table simply because they didn't have the transparency to know where to shop that day. Prices change frequently, stores change their products, and what we're doing is we're empowering consumers to, for the first time ever, be able to know where to shop before they go. One smart, savvy consumer to another. And that's something that we're really excited about and we're starting to see take off across the nation. The reason why Virginia makes a tremendous amount of sense for us is because of the diversity of communities here in the state, and specifically here in the Arlington area. A lot of the tech innovation that's happened in New York and San Francisco, Berlin, and London, the big tech hubs, is focused on the top 1% of the digital class. People that are willing to pay whatever it takes to get their soy latte and their kale salad there that much faster. What we're building is something for the other 99% of the digital class, for people who don't have more time than money, for people that don't have time or money, for people that are doing their best with what they have, and they're looking for something to give them a little bit of a leg up. Right now, on Basket, this year, people using Basket are going to save over $1,000 on their groceries. And that, when you look at it extrapolated across a large community, that's a lot of money that can be reinvested into things that matter more than overpaying for their groceries. And so that's something we're really, really excited about being here, because we are empowering consumers to come together to stop gutting out the middle class by overpaying for the groceries. We're giving people the ability to save that money and invest it back into their families or into their community. And so, I think Margaret Mead once said that never underestimate the power of a group of committed consumers, committed people to change the world. In fact, it's the only thing that ever has. And so at Basket, that's what we stand for. We're excited to stand for that here in Virginia, and I want to thank you all so much for being a part of this community and for the opportunity to speak with you today. Thank you.